All right, I'm back. This is the it says the Temple Mount in the time of Jesus. So you see this. This is how massive the Temple Mount was at the time of Christ. A very huge place. So it says Herod's Temple Mount was the focal point of Jerusalem during the time of Jesus, sitting atop Jerusalem's northern east ridge. It occupied 1/6 of the seas area, pretty big place. Under Herod the Great, the Temple Mount foundation was expanded to encompass approximately 2 million square feet. That's huge. Its foundational walls were constructed using gigantic stones, the largest found being 45 feet long. Wow. About 12 feet high and about 12 feet thick. So this is a massive, massive temple. This right here, as you see my finger right there, says this. This is Wilson's Arch formed a bridge over the Typhon Valley below, leading from the Temple Mount to the Hasmonean Palace, a section of the western wall south of Wilson's Arch, about 187 feet, 57 meters long, sometimes called the Wailing Wall. So this is where the Wailing Wall is today. Has been a place of prayer for Jews for the last 700 years. Wow. The lowest 7 stone courses, which can be seen at ground level, are Herodian. Right here, which is pointing to this right here. The early square Temple Mount preserved its identity as a separate area with its own walls and gates. So you see that right there. This right here says the Antonia Fortress was where Herod and later the Romans commanded the garrison in order to protect the temple and to suppress religiously motivated rebellions. So that's where they stayed at. You had Herod's temple. That's his temple. That's where he pretty much lived. Let's see here. That's the actual temple itself. And then right here, trying to get to it, it says the court of the women was the farthest point of the inner temple complex that women could enter. So this is where the women would stay. The men would go up here where the temple was at. The women would stay back here. Over here, you got the pool of Israel was probably used to wash sacrificial animals before they were led to the Temple Mount. You got the Golden Gate, then known as the Shushan Gate. Stairs ascended from the Mustard Gate into the Kidron Valley and eventually went up to the Mount of Olives. You got the northern city wall of Jerusalem, Solomon's porch. The portico built along the eastern wall was a place of congregation. You got the, just see what that says, the Sorig, a low lattice screen or railing prohibited Gentiles who were non-Jews, who were actually Greeks at the time, or non-purified Jews from entering the temple courts. So the Greeks were not allowed to enter the temple. The court of the Gentiles was the area between the Sorig and the outer walls of the early square Temple Mount. The royal stoa was a 912-foot long portico containing four rows of 40 columns. The Sanhedrin, which is like the Jewish court, met in the central apse after AD 30. This may have been where Jesus, to cleanse the temple, the southeast corner overlooking the Kidron Valley, occurred at a drop of 140 feet. It's a long way down to the street below, and 300 feet to the valley below. This may be the pinnacle of the temple mentioned in Matthew and Luke. So this right here, supposedly where Jesus and Satan himself, Satan told Jesus if he threw himself off, God's angels would stop him, but Jesus said no, he would not do that because, of course, it's a sin, and Jesus is God, he's perfect, and of course the devil's a liar, so you don't believe nothing the devil says. Small shops which had a narrow street built above them were built along the southern wall of the Temple Mount. Okay, you had the triple gate and the stairway, council house for legal proceedings. It's where they held court pretty much. A ritual bathhouse for pilgrims to cleanse before entering the temple precincts. So that's where people would actually bathe and clean themselves before they entered the temple. The double gate and its monumental stairway. You had the Robinson's Arch and its massive stairway led from the Typhonian Street below to the Royal Stoa. I think I just read all of that. I think that's everything. Maybe I didn't leave anything out. But see, this is like the Temple Mount plan. So you see how big it was. It was very huge Temple Mount. But this is the temple at the time of Christ, the second temple, which King Herod built. So that's that, and I'll be right back with chapter 14 here very shortly.